I'm Eric Novak, and this here is the all-new 2022 Lincoln Navigator. Let's check it out, and let's go for a ride. When you look at the Lincoln Navigator for 2022, you think about how they have positioned it and what really this vehicle is about. It is a full-size luxury family hauler. It caters to a specific clientele, a particular demographic. And in that vein, this vehicle really is less about the mechanics, less about what powers it, less about how it handles, and more about the experience itself while you are driving it. And so to that end, there is a fair amount of focus and attention in the redesign of this Navigator to the interior experience overall. They have actually identified the whole experience in their marketing and promotion as redefining serenity. And to that end, you will see a lot of high-end luxury materials, leathers, stitching, wood grain, chrome elements, colors, soft touches. There is a lot of that comfort element in that serenity of space. You also see a lot of different amenities and technology that's designed to enhance that overall experience. Their front seats are something we've seen around before. I first tried this 30 position perfect seat that they have when they brought the Continental back. I'll be honest, I think it's too much. I don't need 30 different types of adjustments to find that perfect comfort. I think it is too cumbersome. You can overwhelm someone. I've always felt that way about the seat. I'm not just singling out now. And the multiplicity of adjustments you have on the door handle, front, back. Again, ultimately, when you can figure it out, it gets to a comfortable setting. And yes, to their credit, once you have that perfect seating position, you can program it. The computers will recognize you and your profile. It would automatically adjust to the settings you've liked. But I just think overall it's too much. Others would disagree, but that's my feeling on the seats. And for the first time, and actually for the first time I believe in this segment, the second row seats now have, well, standard heating and cooling for their seating, but they now have available massage in the second row. This was a huge plus for my kids who were back there, and actually a couple of my sons, their girlfriends had a chance to ride in the back seat, and they were completely not expecting it, and they were going, "What? There was a massage in the second row?" So definitely a plus, and that's an optional upgrade with these seats, but the availability for that is definitely, and it's something you control. Not only, I wouldn't have control over it here per se, but they actually have their own touch screen in the second row, which controls massage, but also their climate. They too can take control of the audio controls, so it's more about driver focusing on the road and passengers enjoying it. As for the third row itself, well, you can take a look here as I try to access it, because that's always an access point, how difficult it is to get in and out, and what the features are back there. So check this part out. With vehicles like this, it's always important to have easy access into the third row. With the second row middle console there, you can't just walk through the two middle captain's chairs, so there's got to be an effective and easy way. And in this case, there's just a lever on the top of the chair which springs forward, and now I just have to bring myself in to sit here in the third row. And with vehicles like this, the good part is that it is full height, so as an adult I don't feel like my knees are in my chest, and it is comfortable, spacious enough, and there is actually the ability to recline here in the third row if I want a little extra space. So a little bit of luxury in the third row, which is not always something you see in vehicles like this. Now, also in the second row, well, not in this particular tester, there is certainly Lincoln Play, an advanced multimedia system with screens in the second row that does have available Fire TV, so you can have Amazon and Netflix and such as that. So again, it's more about the controlling experience. And then for serenity of the front passengers, the screens would have Bluetooth headphones so that we're not disturbing each other front and second. With respect to serenity of sound, this Lincoln Navigator does include the Revel Ultima system. It is a 28 speaker sound system. Great sound. I mean, you've got 8 on the head, the ceiling here. You've got speakers front and side. Very rich sound. Always enjoyed it. Depending upon what you're listening to, certain, satellite radio or FM, it's not as crisp, and that's just more about the frequency coming in and the limitations, the compressor, the limiter going through the signal. But you put something connected to like your smartphone, and it really is a good sounding system. They still are working with the piano key transmission. Another thing I still just don't really like, and it's just more about a reach. And I've mentioned this when I was reviewing the Corsair and the Corsair, the plug-in hybrid version, that I think for me it's more about when you're having to switch, like for a 3-point turn, always having to reach. It's a minor detail. You get used to it. It's not the end of the world, but I sometimes prefer a more of a vertical stack closer to me than having to stretch further out for, say, drive and closer for park. But that's maybe a nitpicking thing, but it matters to me. One thing I am going to just be a little nitpicky on, because I found myself getting caught in this system. Now here, beside the steering wheel, where you have your push start stop button, and you also have your trailer towing controls. I think they're in the wrong order. They've placed the trailer hookup control system where I'm traditionally used to having my start-stop button, and they put the start-stop button above it. I can't tell you how many times in this week I've reached to start the vehicle and I've actually been hitting the trailer button here. I don't know why they put it up top. Again, a weird positioning. I think if they switched it, because you're more likely to reach, it's a more direct contact to the start stop button. So I would reverse it. It just seems kind of weird the way it's positioned as is. Your center touchscreen, again, your main interface, lots of information. It's generally pretty easy to handle. I don't have any real issues with it. Settings are easy enough. You have plenty of access to things such as ambient lighting, your particular seat controls. You can also control your massage settings here on the center screen. Certainly something that if you want to, there's different types of massaging as well. So overall, the touch interface is easy enough, and they do line up generally well with the steering controls. So it's, from a functionality perspective, it's not too bad. Wireless charging, of course, is here. You also have USB-C and USB-A connectors if you want to access your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So there is not wireless in that respect for at least Android Auto. I haven't checked CarPlay because I have an Android, but the wireless charging is good. You can close it up and keep it out of the way. That's good because, you should close it up if you want to not be drawn to it all the time. I still think, and I've mentioned this before, I'd like to see a reminder chime that you've got your phone inside, because it's easy to forget if you close it. There certainly is a good reminder chime to check your back seat, which is important, but I think they could also add a reminder chime just to make sure, in case you have your phone in there. It's happened once or twice. Again, it's on us to remember that, but if you close it up to keep it away from being distracted, you might want to have a reminder later on that it's still there. The 2022 Lincoln Navigator contains the same powertrain that has been under the hood for some time now, that being a 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. It puts out 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. There is no plug-in hybrid variant of the Navigator such as there is with the Aviator Grand Touring, Lincoln's other 3-row vehicle. However, reports do exist that Lincoln is planning for a fully electric large SUV similar to the Navigator by 2026. It would presumably be built using the same platform used for the new F-150 Lightning, but no official announcements have been made to date. The most significant addition to the 2022 Navigator in terms of its driving capabilities is the debut of Lincoln's much-anticipated Activeglide Enhanced Adaptive Cruise Control System. When the Activeglide system's advanced cameras and radar are activated, drivers will be able to operate the Navigator hands-free on pre-qualified sections of divided highways. Hands-free blue zones include more than 130,000 miles, or just under 210,000 kilometers, of dedicated highways across North America in the Lincoln GPS mapping system. Now, I was able to experience this on a couple of Toronto's major highways and came away impressed. A driver-facing camera in the instrument cluster monitors eye gaze and head position to help ensure a driver's eyes stay on the road. The system will also tell you to return your hands to the wheel when the highway markings are disrupted by construction or other factors. It then returns to hands-free driving once safe to do so. This is a vehicle that when owning it would be likely expecting to tow something, boats, or, something consistent with the lifestyle that a vehicle like this Navigator has, and to that end, you have towing limits. Now, if you are in two-wheel drive mode, you will have 8,700 pounds of towing capacity. Stick it into 4x4 mode, that's going to drop to 8,300 pounds. So you'll have to keep that in mind as you're deciding what to haul. As for fuel economy ratings, again, it does depend upon whether you're driving with two-wheel drive or 4x4. The combined fuel economy rating, if you are in two-wheel drive, is 12.4 liters per 100 kilometers, or 19 US miles per gallon. You keep it in four-wheel drive, that drops, of course, down to 13.1 liters per 100 kilometers, or 18 US miles per gallon. A number like that is, it's not bad, considering the size and weight of this vehicle. Just last week I was in the Jeep Grand Cherokee, but I had the 5.7 liter naturally aspirated V8. It was a smaller vehicle, not as heavy as this, with higher powertrain, and the fuel economy was about 15 to 20% higher than what this is rated at. I'm not quite achieving the fuel economy ratings that is posted. I'm a little bit higher this week. I haven't done a lot of highway driving, so that might impact it. Perhaps by the time I'm done at the end of the week, I've got a long highway drive before returning, and I'll get closer to. I'll take an image of the final fuel economy rating that I received, but so far I haven't hit the posted ratings. Another new feature with the 2022 Lincoln Navigator is an all-new adaptive suspension. It does have the ability to monitor as you're driving the road conditions to adjust. You do have, of course, the ability to change the drive modes yourself, from Excite to 4x4 to slippery and snow, a whole bunch of typical conditions that would adjust with the road. But the new adaptive suspension is a new feature with the 2022 Navigator. The 2022 Lincoln Navigator, to my mind, is a design that understands its purpose in the Lincoln SUV lineup and does well to live up to the expectations placed upon it. It's a big, luxury family hauler, and with the addition of new technology, refinement, and the introduction of Activeglide, this new generation Navigator will continue to maintain its competitive position in what is a small but significant luxury brand segment. I enjoy driving it more than I thought I would, and I look forward to seeing the evolution of this Lincoln hallmark as the company moves toward full electrification in the years ahead. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider doing so. And if you are subscribed, be sure to ring the bell so that you're notified of every time I upload a new review. That's it for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.